It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Monday morning, and thank you so much for starting off the morning with us. Now, today, a very important day, a day that marks the start of Cerebral Palsy Week, and it's considered the most common disability or physical disability, with 17 million people worldwide living with CP. And this morning, we're joined by Khadija Koopman, who is the director of the Western Cape Cerebral Palsy Association, alongside Kamvaletu Salman, who was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. But thank you very much for joining us and for starting the conversation with us about this very important week.
I mean, Khadija, you know, many people don't understand cerebral palsy. It's very, very misunderstood. They don't understand that it's not just one single condition, right?
Yes, possibly so. And I think cerebral palsy is the result of the condition is a lifelong condition of affecting movement, posture, and muscle tone. And it's caused by injury to the immature and developing brain, either during pregnancy, during the birth process, or in infancy and early childhood. So the extent of the damage to the brain determines what the disability is going to be. It could be as slight as, you know, very, very mild, and that the disability is hardly detectable. It can, on the other hand, be quite severe, and then there would be associated conditions with it as well, except for the movement. There could be an intellectual disability, there could be hearing impairment, there could be a speech impairment. And because it really depends on which part of the brain is damaged, that is why no two people are the same. And I think that probably contributes to the condition not being understood. Because if you see somebody today with cerebral palsy and you introduce somebody tomorrow, they could present very differently. And I think that is what causes the confusion.
Yeah, and Kamvaletu, I'll speak to you right now or shortly about what the, you know, Khadija, having been in your life with the WCCPA, what it means to you. But tell me first, Khadija, about the work that you do at the WCCPA.
The WCCPA, Western Cape Cerebral Palsy Association, is a 65-year-old non-profit organization. We provide services in the treatment, the care, support, education and employment of people with cerebral palsy. Kamvaletu is at our residential facility, Rosedon House, where we have 57 adults with cerebral palsy who can no longer live with their families. So people are not just there by choice. Their care needs are often very high, and their families are not able to look after them. Also, people with disabilities in general and cerebral palsy live longer. So we have people at our residential facility where they're no longer family of origin. The families have died out, so they're without care. So the 57 people who are with us have nobody else, and their care needs are so high that even if they have families, their families aren't able to provide in their care needs.
Now, Kamvaletu, I mean, you know, Khadija's mentioning it's a very, very commonly misunderstood condition. What do you find people most misunderstand about your condition?
Because they're helping me, they're nice to me, but I'm watching them. The people now watch us on the TV.
And I mean, this is exactly what this is about. We're trying to create awareness by educating people out there. So how can people contribute more to the work that you do? Because like you say, you've got 50 plus people at the home, but there is more that can be done. There is more that we as a public can do to educate ourselves so that we are more, I think, empathetic and compassionate towards people that are diagnosed with...
Yes, I think stigma is probably one of the biggest barriers for people with cerebral palsy. If you have somebody who has a speech impediment and their movement is not stable, they're often misunderstood and often seen to be under the influence of alcohol or with drugs. And so those are and that determines how people respond to them. And I think one of the biggest challenges for us is access. Opportunities and access, because there are so many young people with cerebral palsy who have been to schools for children with special education needs, and once they exit the schools, there's absolutely nothing. Our biggest challenge with access is access to transport. So, you know, people in wheelchairs, people with walkers, people on crutches need access to specialized transport, and that is, so it often leads to people being isolated in their homes with nobody else to engage with but their families. And so those are the challenges that people with cerebral palsy experience on a daily basis.
Well, Khadija, thank you very much for joining us. Kambaletu, thank you very
Absolutely.
much
Thank
for
you.
being
Thanks
here
for
with us
coming.
and for enlightening us on this very, very important start of Cerebral Palsy Awareness Week. And of course, like you said, one of those challenges. So this is a call out to all of those corporates out there that especially work in the transport industry. If you can find yourself compassionate enough to want to contribute to this cause, then you can find out more. Visit www.wccpa.org.za.